Hello, welcome to Movie Summaries. Today we are summarizing a 2020 horror and thriller movie called The Owners. Fair warning, there are spoilers in this summary. Enjoy, and be sure to subscribe to watch more videos weekly, and hit like. A group of misfits, Nathan, Terry, and Gaz, are scoping out an elderly couple's house in the car while they wait for them to leave. Terry's mom works as a housekeeper for the couple, so Terry has some inside information. For example, he has told Nathan and Gaz about a large safe somewhere in the home that is filled with money. As they are sitting, waiting for the opportunity to strike, Nathan's girlfriend, Mary, rides up on her bike. She knocks angrily on the window and tells Nathan that she wants her car back, but he's asking for 20 more minutes. What does she even see in Nathan? Move on to something better. Frustrated, Mary gives up and sits in the car to wait, while the three men break into the Huggins home. They jump the fence and make their way inside the house. Terry doesn't know the exact location of the safe, which angers Gaz and Nathan. Gaz begins destroying the house, knocking things off shelves, and breaking whatever he can get his hands on. This upsets Terry, who was under the impression that they would not damage anything. He still has some human decency at least. Nathan and Terry head into the basement, where they find the safe. Gaz finally finishes ruining the Huggins' belongings and joins the other two downstairs. Upon seeing the combination lock on the safe, Gaz chastises Terry for telling them it was an electronic safe, and reveals he cannot crack the combination. Nathan tries to use power tools and hammers to break into the safe, but it won't budge. The guys are clearly annoyed and angry at this very smooth plan. Determined to still get what they came for, Gaz convinces Nathan to stay and wait for the couple to get back, so they can scare them into telling them the combination. This guy is seriously a bad influence. The two of them settle down on the couch, helping themselves to cigars and whiskey. Gaz orders Terry around to bring them drinks and snacks. Make yourselves at home, boys. Outside still, Mary is honking the horn, calling and yelling for Nathan. In an attempt to calm her down, he goes outside and convinces her to come inside and see something for just 5 minutes before they leave. Once she is inside, he takes her phone and tries to initiate some intimate activities. Mary stops Nathan and pushes him off of her and reveals to him that she is pregnant. Shocked, he becomes more motivated than ever to finish the job so that he can take care of his new family. As they are talking, the Huggins couple returns home. Mary jumps up to leave, but realizes Nathan's intent to stay and scare them for the money. Nathan hands her a stocking and tells her to put it on. She refuses at first, but Gaz intimidates her into cooperating. The couple enters the home. They turn on the light and notice the mess in their home. Nathan and Gaz rush and grab the couple, knocking Ellen over in the process, causing her to cut her hand on broken glass. They force the couple to sit down, while Dr. Huggins pleads for them to let him tend to Ellen's hand. Mary goes to grab some medical supplies. Okay, pause. Can I point out that these face mask stockings are pathetic? You can see each of their faces so clearly. We see that age has taken its toll on Ellen's mind. While cleaning her cut, Dr. Huggins notices a tattoo on Mary's wrist that says, Mary Jane. After she is finished, Gaz forces Mary to tie Ellen up. Poor Mary really got stuck in the middle of all of this. The guys are ready to talk money and where it all is in the house, from his wallet to the money in the jars around the house. After they have taken all the money from their wallets, Nathan confronts Dr. Huggins about the safe in the basement, but the doctor plays dumb and pretends he does not know what they are talking about. They drag the couple down to the basement and sit them in front of the safe. Dr. Huggins tries to reason with Nathan, but Nathan slaps him across the face. Behind them, Gaz taunts Ellen, telling her that he was worried about what they might do to her. He slowly inches his cigar cherry closer to her ear, threatening to burn her. Before Nathan stops him, Gaz backs off. He picks up a box cutter and hands it to Nathan, telling him if they want the doctor to give them the combination, he's going to have to get serious about it. Seeing this, Mary storms off upstairs. Nathan goes after her, but Gaz stops him and tells him that he will bring her back. Mary spots the telephone on the wall and hides in the bathroom to call the cops. Gaz notices the empty phone holder and snatches the cord, leading him right to Mary. He grabs her by the hair and begins throwing her around. Downstairs, Mary's screams can be heard alongside the thuds and banging, and Nathan just let it happen. Literally the worst boyfriend. Dr. Huggins addresses Terry by his name, revealing that despite the stockings covering their faces, he knows who they are. He talks to Terry about watching him grow up and knowing his parents in an effort to connect with him and convince him to let him go. He tells Terry not to let a stranger like Gaz, someone not from their town, ruin his life. Terry agrees, saying he thinks they should leave, but Nathan pushes him against a wall. Upstairs, Mary and Gaz are still fighting. Gaz breaks the phone line and slams Mary's head into a mirror. He tells her that Nathan will leave her and their baby once he gets all the money. She tries to yell for Nathan, but Gaz covers her mouth before dragging her back downstairs and tying her up. Nathan takes the box cutter and puts it to Ellen's throat, once again asking for the code. Gaz whispers something in Nathan's ear that puts him on edge. Nathan threatens to cut Ellen's finger off if Dr. Huggins doesn't give them the code. Behind him, Gaz pulls out a gun and points it at the doctor, which surprises Nathan. As they all sit there in a standoff, Nathan can't bring himself to cut Ellen. He turns and offers the box cutter to Gaz, saying if it is so easy, he should do it. Gaz turns the gun on Nathan and says if he doesn't cut off Ellen's finger, he'll kill him with a gun to his head. Nathan begs the doctor to give him the code. Suddenly, he turns and swings the box cutter at Gaz, and causing him to drop the gun. The two wrestle on the ground. They struggle for the box cutter, with Nathan ending up on top. But Nathan ultimately ends up getting stabbed in the stomach. Damn, I really thought Nathan would win and we would be done with Gaz. Dr. Huggins asks to be untied so he can save Nathan, but Gaz refuses. He says he will let Dr. Huggins save Nathan if he gives him the code to the safe. The doctor finally gives in and gives him a code and tries to get Terry to untie him. While Gaz's back is turned, Terry is in the corner having a breakdown and doesn't notice the doctor's pleas. But it is the wrong code. The doctor gives Gaz another code to try, and Mary quietly gets herself untied. When the second code doesn't work, Gaz grabs a power saw and slowly inches it towards Ellen's arms. Suddenly, Mary comes up from behind and hits him in the head with a sledgehammer, killing him. Mary is the true heroine of this story. She frees the doctor and Ellen from their restraints and tries to get Nathan into the couple's van to take him to the hospital. The doctor tells her that he won't make it to the hospital and that he will treat him at their house until the ambulance gets there. Mary and Terry take Nathan upstairs to the operating room and lay him on the table. Dr. Huggins prepares himself and removes the box cutter from Nathan's abdomen. He asks Mary and Terry to leave him alone to work on Nathan, and they agree. Terry comforts her and assures her that everything will be okay before trying to kiss her. Really? Not the time, man. Mary pulls away and angrily berates him for ruining everything he touches. He blames him for driving her sister away, and we learn that Terry previously dated Mary's twin sister, Jane, who ran away. Terry insists that Jane didn't leave, but Mary does not care to hear anything he says. Mary tries to go back and check on Nathan, pushing past Dr. Huggins to see him. She finds Nathan lying on the table and feels for a pulse. She doesn't find one, but the doctor assures her that he is just sleeping. She yells at him, saying that Nathan feels cold, and asks where the ambulance is. Dr. Huggins tells her that he will call again to check and see how far away they are, but he uses the phone Gaz broke, and Mary realizes that he is faking the call, and Nathan is dead. He tries to give Mary some pills to help with her anxiety and shock, but she refuses to take them. She goes back to find Ellen injecting Terry with something to help with his ankle pain. She tries to open the doors, but finds that they are all locked. Panic begins to set in. Ellen confronts her in the hallway and addresses her as Kate, the Huggins' deceased daughter, chastising her before striking her across the face. Dr. Huggins appears and reminds Ellen that Mary is not Kate and apologizes for his wife's behavior. Something is seriously off about this lady. Mary goes to find Terry, who is watching TV and eating snacks on the couch. A bit too relaxed, considering the situation. She asks for his phone, but he tells her that he gave his phone to Ellen and that they should trust the couple. No, Terry. Mary calls him stupid and tells him that Nathan is dead, but he does not believe her. The Huggins come back offering tea. Mary pretends to need to smoke a cigarette in an attempt to get Dr. Huggins to open one of the doors, but he refuses and says she shouldn't smoke while pregnant. Terry convinces her to sit while the doctor talks about their daughter, who passed, and shows them a scrapbook Ellen made of all the young girls who had disappeared from the area, including Mary's sister Jane. That's kinda creepy. Mary asks for her phone back and becomes agitated when the doctor plays dumb. She grabs a knife and demands they open the door for them to leave, but the doctor grabs her and locks her in the cupboard. He leaves Terry in charge of watching her while he goes to put Ellen to bed. The fact that Terry still trusts these two is astonishing. She tries to get Terry to let her out, but he is still angry at her for speaking to him so cruelly. Upstairs, Ellen becomes upset and demands that she and the doctor punish Mary now. Back downstairs, Terry discovers that his legs have gone numb and assumes Ellen gave him too much medicine by accident, but Mary tells him it was on purpose. He uses a cane to get over to the cupboard, where he snaps and has a breakdown from Mary yelling at him. Mary apologizes and tells him they can still get out of their situation if they work together. Terry takes this the wrong way and asks what she means by together. She tries to reason with him into letting her out, but he starts to call her Jane and reminisce about the time that they were together and loved each other. Mary gets scared as she realizes he thinks she is her sister. Great, so he's messed up in the head too. Mary really is on her own. He finally lets her out, still referring to her as Jane. Mary gets a knife and goes upstairs to get the keys from the doctor, leaving Terry downstairs. Terry gets up to check on Nathan and sees him lifelessly laying on the table. He tries to convince himself that Nathan is just sleeping before making his way upstairs to find Mary. He finds her in Kate's old room, opening up a window. Seeing this, he accuses Jane of trying to leave him. Mary tries to play into his delusion, but he tackles her onto the bed, trying to kiss her. Seriously, what is with this guy? As she tries to get away, a smoke bomb rolls into the room, and metal covers come down over the windows. Mary helps Terry up and tries to make it downstairs. Smoke continues to fill the house. As Mary struggles to breathe, the Higgins lurk in the smoke, dressed in hazmat suits and gas masks, while they whip Mary. She swings the knife blindly, and finally pinpoints one of them when she throws a vase and hits them, before taking their gas mask for herself, which reveals that she has captured Ellen. Ellen injects Mary with something. She drags them into the kitchen and ties their arm to the oven door before Dr. Higgins grabs her from behind. The two fight, with Mary ultimately pushing him out and smashing his fingers in the door until one of them comes off. She takes Ellen hostage, demanding Terry and the keys for Ellen's life. I'd have killed the old hag anyway, just to be safe. The doctor agrees and leaves Terry and the keys outside the door. Mary drags an unconscious Terry down to the basement and loads him into the van, fighting viciously against the drugs Ellen gave her. She opens the garage door and sees Ellen and the doctor standing there and prepares to run them down. A shot rings out and blood splatters the windshield. Mary looks back to see a gun in Terry's hand, revealing that he is the one who shot her in the stomach. I cannot believe this. Dr. Higgins comes and sits next to her in the van, explaining that they considered keeping her, but ultimately decided to stick with what they know. The couple retrieves Terry from the back of the van, telling him they knew he could be trusted. Mary watches as Dr. Higgins unlocks the safe and opens a door to reveal Jane chained to a bed. At least Mary got to see her sister one last time. He explains that after their daughter died, Ellen was inconsolable and needed another child to fill the void. He says that they tried many different children, but none of them were right, until they found Jane one day. They roll Terry, who seems very happy to see her, into Jane's room in a wheelchair, and leave him with her. The Huggins are outside burying the bodies from the previous night under the guise of gardening. Terry's mother comes out to let them know that she's finished cleaning their house, sensing that there's something bothering her. Ellen asks her what's wrong. Terry's mother reveals that she is worried because she hasn't heard from her son in almost a week. The couple tells her not to worry, and that he is probably fine, before sending her off. Seriously, what a pair of psychopathic lunatics. Hope you enjoyed our summary. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos weekly. Thanks.